Hello, I'm Megan Catherin, and this is Megan Catherin Enlightenment. The stuff that I tune into that maybe if I share it, it's helpful, it might inspire, it might open, it might get you to something you needed to know in the moment that you're watching this. So welcome to the channel. I'd like to say right now, if you haven't before, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, or if you're seeing this in Patreon, please take another look at the work that's in there for the monthly membership. And yeah, if anything's appealing, you might want to spend some time going through some of that stuff because it's more pertinent now more than ever. And it was brought to my attention again about the innate intelligences, the what I call the light streams of heaven that have been coming through for some years now and have been getting stronger and stronger. And we're at a state now where we're taking it in more and embodying it more, and our technology, our biotechnology, is changing to do that. There's been so much, and if you consider yourself a light worker or a way shower or someone who's just a little bit fruity right on the edges, you know that there's these energies going on. You know that you've been upgrading. You know that the life that's out there is not what we want, not what we may have chosen in the beginning, this idea, but it wasn't where we ever thought it would go. And we've decided time to clean up the playground. In fact, time to step out of this playground. We've been cleaning up for years now in terms of our energetic timelines and entanglements and agreements and contracts and all the itty bitty bits between. The karmic stuff, we don't play karma anymore. We aren't in that contractual state. We aren't in soul monads anymore. We don't, unless we choose to stay there, we don't have to stay there. We don't have the looping and the ongoing requirement to be here anymore. And the matrix, the illusions, we're breaking out of those. Truth is reaching us, and these energies are reaching us. And pretty much that's all that the spiritual world talks about, right? Is these frequencies and these energies, and you're feeling them in one way or another. And they bring stuff up for healing, but there's also this new revealing, this direction we're all heading as these superhumans or the Homo luminous, the exciting being that you're becoming as a 5D new earth world that you are heralding in. Well done, you. Let's keep going with it, right? So if I can help you out with anything I'm saying, if it inspires something, gives you an aha, brings you into something that is, oh, I wonder what that energy could be for me. I wonder what that truth is in alignment with me, because obviously this is my story, my way, but I'm here rubbing shoulders with you saying, well, what else is there? Is there something that I can offer? And of course, spirit wouldn't bring you here if there wasn't. Or you've turned off by now and I'm not talking to you anymore, talking to the rest of you. Okay, 26th of the 10th right now of 2025. And this is my little journal at the minute. I'm loving all these flowers. I have got to read what I've written and then reference it, or I might reference it some of it in between. I don't know, who knows where it goes. And I never go in straight lines, and in fact that's what this is about. And then I'm going to tune you into the energy of aliveness. So we have our 7 streams that I have videos and recordings and discoveries and expansions and activations in my Patreon, which go through the green spectrum of peace, the blue spectrum of integrity, the red spectrum of sovereignty, the brown spectrum of wisdom. We're talking light, we're talking language of light and all that it is, the sound, etc. The grace, which is the orange spectrum, wonder, the purple spectrum, and yellow being bliss. And of course, you understand it as the rainbow energies, right? Because you are becoming a rainbow luminous being. So if you aren't already, right? expanding that. What can we do with that, right? Where is that leading us now? What is this new world we are creating? Expansion into the rest of Earth that we got chopped off from. That's part of what we're talking today as well. And so I want to align you specifically to not just those first 7 innate intelligences, but the others that we've explored over the last 12 months, particularly elation, which is combinational, very brought to us by the heavens, by the cosmic heart, by the source itself. And we get it stepped down to us from different beings and different consciousnesses and through the sun and through various expressions of the solar system, etc., etc. But we're learning to open to it ourselves and to grow with that. So another one is aliveness, which is green and gold. And interestingly, that came to me with a Kerry Kay video. If you don't know Kerry Kay, just look it up. Kerry, Kerryk, in YouTube, and you'll find her stuff in there. And she often sparks things in me that I go, oh yes, I know this, or yes, that's what I've been talking about, or yes, that's what I've been feeling, experiencing, or oh, what is this? This is new. What has she brought to me, right? And I hope that I'm able to do that for you too. It's all about pass it on, baby, right? It's bringing in the goods. So let's pass it around. Let's all have a sniff. Okay. So gonna read it. So I watched Kerry Kay's videos about the rising of the mega dragons. I've had interactions with dragons going way back to 2013, I think, when Zeroth came in, a rainbow dragon. Didn't know that at the time. And I had been speaking with him, understood him to be one of my soul monad directors, if you want to call it that, somebody overseeing an ascended master. And I went to a psychic sort of fair thing and spoke to a lady who went, oh, wow, there's this huge dragon that's just come up over the pool. There was a pool at this place. And she started speaking about him and what he was saying. And I just went, oh, that's Zurith. She was like, oh, I didn't expect you to actually know who this was and what it was. But it was a confirmation for me that this existed, that I wasn't making this stuff up. This dragon that spoke to me, that I had been interacting with, was indeed real to other people. So this is where I want to remind you that these dragons, that an entire species and a type of energy and purpose are indeed real. So she was talking of the rising of the mega dragons. First, in the last month or two, has been the red dragon, a masculine fire type dragon, mega dragons awakening. I don't think I'm going to go into them. If you want to know more what she has to say, go and have a look at Kerry's. Then there was the pale blue masculine. So I was actually watching that. I'd watched the red one a while ago, watched the pale blue, and then followed it with the new one she just put out a few days ago, the green and gold mega dragon of the feminine awakening. And my thoughts then went off to, they went into a stasis state to hold 5D Eden to Earth in the fall, to keep the door open, to remind us and help us rise when the time came. Way back again in 2013-14, I was heavily into soul integration, and I understood that Earth had an Eden. I've also had stories from various parts of trolls and the energy and soul of Eden to speak to me and interact with me. And in fact, I was a part of her soul in some way, and probably so are many of you as a consciousness. This is a very vast consciousness we're connecting back to. But this is a specific place, a specific reality, a specific agreement of life and aliveness, right? The Eden that we're returning to, that we're coming to know, that is bringing contact through these other beings that exist, many of them being elementals, being sprites, gnomes, pixies, divas, plants, and their higher spirits, animals and their higher spirits, and many more we haven't heard of before. There are other beings there, and there are indeed these dragons and many more. And these mega dragons, they didn't go off and stay out of the fall. They chose to be bridges or stick with the 3D, but in a stasis position, ready for this time. Okay, that's enough. I'll go about that. So I'm just going to go into my story. Perhaps if there's anything in here that comes up, put a message in the comments or whatever, and say, can you speak to this more if you want to know more? But otherwise, I don't know if I'll go too much into some of this. So this also has me thinking of Elysium, and that is the state of Earth as a 7D reality, a place the galactics and gods learned in, a place of gorgeous harmony that also was destroyed to a degree in the human decision to be controlled and to allow the fall. This part of our soul's collective decision, a game so ridiculous we had to sleep to play, we had to forget to allow and to activate its experience. Elysium is again a part of what is Earth. There are many Earths with many different versions of the signature of Earth. And my belief is that the many worlds and experiences of Elysium, and the many worlds and experiences of Eden, and the many worlds and experiences of us, the human Earth race and the animal race that live with us here, are coming together. There is a trinity of them coming together, and who knows what else. But Earth herself is uprising or healing her soul fragments, just like we have been doing as well. And so we have to shift with that. And that will bring to us these new experiences, these new beings, these new ways that will become very real as we let go the agreement of the matrix, the fall that we've had. So the angels have held us all while we live this matrix 3D space. It's just a comment. I think there was a thought of where do the angels fit into this? And they walk amongst us and in all varieties of these spaces, because this is about heaven to earth. Remember that. So who sits with heaven and who bridges heaven and who works on behalf of heaven? Most definitely those beautiful angels in all their varieties. Okay. It is with great satisfaction that I write this, because it feels like it is coming from within my heart, but my cosmic star door is now open. Now, I have spoken about this in the many recordings and live get-togethers about the new technology of the stellar body and how we have this convalescing of these particular chakras here as what I call the moon, the mercurial moon. It's very visceral, and it's like expanding your psyche, expanding your ability as a knowledge, as a brain, as a connection. Crossing over that is the throat. So we then get this circular part here that comes down to the diaphragm, more or less, and that's our sun. And at the very center of that, of course, is our heart. And this diaphragm crossover, it sort of sits above the solar plexus, becomes what is this, what I call the star. So these are, at this very center of that star is our black hole, white hole, what we bring in and let go, what we bring in, let go. What I'm starting to learn just recently in my own space, in the last month or two, this crossover here is very much it's like a centralization. It's the centralization, and I can feel a lot of energy coming and going from that, from within. It's about, and then how it projects out and what it is doing, but it centralizes it forwards, up and down, and it's connecting the brain, which comes in later after all of this cosmic star business has happened. So at the very crossover point of that sun and your star, that sort of diaphragmy, stomachy area, what are you digesting, right? It's about getting that to a clear, open nature, to the cosmic heart, the pulsing of heaven speaking to us, the cosmic heart of all that is, and letting that energy come into alignment with us as our star. Remember, out there somewhere, we are many of these stars. We are those energies, not in terms of planets, but in terms of the galactic force, terms of the nature of life, in terms of the places and spaces in between, right? There's just so much to our soul signature or our source signature that we are now attuning back to, and our soul is coming back to that signature. And that signature is source. It is a specific way of sources play with you, the many parts and beings that you have been, many that you still are, many that you now are in alignment with, and that's all moving through your star, through your heart. You reconnect to your own heart, your own heavenly pulse, and then the cosmic heart of all. You are connecting that, and that technology, and the best way I've been able to explain it is that it falls short. I don't understand it. It's just the ways that I have that allow me to align and embody it, to feel it, to know the truth of that, and to let it happen to me, to change it up and become that technology. And within all of that is the chakra system. It still serves its purpose, but the chakra system has definitely inverted. You are receiving from within. You are receiving from the very many. You are receiving from your all, and you are, of course, the nothing, the black hole, white hole. Things come in, absorbed, and things go out, right? You are connecting all of that technology up again. However it works beyond quantum, it's you being a part of that. And I'm sure over time we'll come to understand this better. That's the kind of best way I can say what this means. So it feels like it is coming from within my heart. My cosmic star door is open. The heart star I am is receiving the pulse of the cosmic heart, and I feel at peace, aligned, in sync. Interestingly, between the videos, I spent some toilet time in my bathroom. I have a crossword book always at hand, and I let spirit speak to me while I'm there. I do the puzzles intuitively, which means I let myself cheat if needed. I go to whichever pages I feel like. I can start a puzzle and leave it and come back to it another time. And if it means looking at the answers in the back of the book, I do. So I do the puzzles out of order or in an order I am led to. I may only do a few words across a puzzle at a time, and then I let it speak to me where the significance wants to be shown through certain words in perfect timing. And although I often do the puzzles as normal, right, just the regular way, mostly my crossword book is another tool of communication with spirit and source. When I build that book or come to the end of what I want to do in that book, I will always follow the intuitive path as to which book I am to buy and when. So I don't just buy, oh, here's the latest next one or whatever. I always follow spirit. Yet at the same time, there's a joy, there's a lovely challenge, and I still do crosswords and puzzles in my own way and enjoy them. But there tends to be, and has been for some time, often some intercommunication and a relationship to what is happening, a flag, which I'll explain in a minute. So today, the anagram crossword I had, the clue was lamenting. And I knew I needed the answer as I could not figure it out, but I didn't want to leave it like I normally would if you would just go, oh yeah, I'll leave that. I can't answer that one, leave it, let my brain stew on it, it'll come. You know, just the usual challenge of a crossword, but this was more, and I knew there was significance to this. So instead, I looked up the answer and filled it in immediately. So lamenting is an anagram for alignment. That was interesting. I was like, what? I know, right? So I was then led to a word clue in there that didn't feel important. It was, you know, what is the anagram of whatever, and you had to then find it in the crossword, and it was whatever number that I was led to. So again, not following number 1, number 2, number 3, no crosses and the downs. No, I just go wherever. But its anagram felt really important, felt significant. So again, I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what the anagram was of that word, which I can't even think off the top of my head, but because it was so irrelevant. It was like, oh, I need to know what the anagram is. There's something important about this word. And so quickly I gave up about trying to rack my brains for it, and I looked at the solution in the back of the book, and the answer was tramline. So I knew these words were or are a flag. And flag is, for me, a long time ago, Spirit said a flag is an acronym for feels like a guide. So just following, oh, that's a flag, right? It's signs. It's the same thing. So feels like a guide, lamenting alignment to tramline. So it felt like a healing. I was like, okay, I've been getting pulled in quite a bit today. There's a message in this, a knowing, a reminder. And so I wrote them on a piece of toilet paper. Honestly, I have little pieces of toilet paper in my studio. And I brought it in to contemplate it and discover more and feel into it. So yeah, I wrote it into this book, so now the piece of toilet paper is in the bin. But yeah, this is how I transferred those thoughts, because this is such a flag, something I aren't necessarily fully comprehending. I can walk from the toilet to my studio and forget what those words were. It's like having a dream and you're like, wow, that's so intense. I had this dream. I'll remember that in the morning. And no, you don't, right? I know I had a dream. I know I had something to do with, and that's it. But the details lost. A thought that comes at night, I have a little notepad book and pencil beside my bed so that I can write. Sometimes I go, what the hell have I written? The scribble over the top of the scribble. But it helps me to cement it in, because if I've heard something or come with a thought, an inspiration, or a conversation or an idea, it's so easy for me to have forgotten it because it's new to me, or I haven't yet embodied it. It's just an idea, right? It's something someone said. How quickly you can forget that if you don't feel it yet. But because it's come through, and I feel I must know it, remember it, write it down, then I know it is a guide and I must use that guide. So I do all the things I can to do that. So firstly, what is the definition of lamenting? Because I was like, kind of know it, but what is that? And it is the present participle, meaning the verb, the present participle. I love it. Present participle of lament, right? So lamenting is the present participle of lament, or the easy way of saying the verb of lament, which is defined as one, expressing passionate grief about something. So expressing passionate grief. So the synonyms, there's a bunch of them, but the ones that felt like the flags or the ones to write down was mourn, grieve, sorrow, wail, and keen. Mourning, grieving, sorrow, wailing, and keening. And a lot of us, our bodies are wailing and keening, and we're not even aware of that. But a lot of that can be what we might call anxiety or sadness or anxiousness, in the sense that we feel distraught in some way or bereft, and yet we don't really know why. Our lives are pretty good. Why should we be feeling like this? There's a lot of that. Then, of course, there is the total letting go of stuff that is sadness, is being grieved, is mourning, and we literally are wailing. Our energy is wailing. If we could hear ourselves, we would know that we are crying inside, so to speak, that sound is being given off by our frequency. And so the opposite of that was to celebrate, rejoice, and elate. And one of the higher energies of truth and innate intelligence, there's what I call elation. So it was interesting to see the word elate. And these are the newer ones that we've been exploring and getting more in depth. And I feel like they're really coming in a lot at the moment, or over this year. There's been moments of the breakthrough. Each month there seems to be these newer, here's a chance to get used to this energy and let it release whatever and allow it to embody whatever. And then the next one will come in. And now we're kind of doing the rounds a bit, getting more and more used to what can seem a bit overwhelming at first. So we just got to kind of bit by bit, right? Especially depends what you've been carrying as that energy that is lament or other. So the second part of lamenting was express regret or disappointment about something. So expressing regret or disappointment about something would be lamenting, and express, meaning lament, we lament something, we express regret. So the synonyms that really stood out was, and the reason I speak to these and put them up there, not just for my own understanding, it's just, is that something for you? Is there something in this? So is a synonym of bemoan, bewail, complain about, deplore, regret, they're all a little bit different, rue, oppose, and denounce. Does any of that feel like what needs to be let out of your system? What is a block for you? What is a stagnation? What is reeling in you in some way? Perhaps there is some sort of sorrow or regret to be released. So lamenting is basically to feel or express sorrow, regret, grief over something or a situation in a passionate, demonstrative way. Passion for me is pass ion. Pass ion. So what ions need to pass? Because ions keep moving. What ion do you need to pass? Passion can be great, you know, it's all the good stuff. Yeah, I'm passing the ions on and it's building my reality, manifesting for me, blah, blah, blah. But there can also be the passion of I need to, in order to find the truth and flow with the higher energy, I need to pass ions because I've been holding on to them. I've been in stuck mode or emotional stagnation or trauma or whatever. And a demonstrative way, meaning action. So there's a lot more depth to these words than the overarching idea from man-made 3D kind of ideas, right? We're kind of going deeper. And the opposite of these is celebrate, compliment, praise, relish, appreciate, and rejoice. And these are, some of these are very key words that aligning to those, feeling those. If you want to feel aliveness and elation, the true innate energies and these frequencies, these spectrums of energy in their infinite nature, because remember, what I feel as aliveness may be different to what you feel as aliveness, but the spectrum is so broad, and yet at the same time it is so precise. And what I could feel like, if we were talking the color green, we could be talking a very bright light green, and we could almost be looking at it going, it's the same. I'm getting it and you're getting it. And yet what do we do with it and how it aligns to us may have a different way to it. And this is where we go with the tramlines, okay, allowing our way. So lamenting my alignment to the tramline, what does that mean? So the tramline being, and I had to sort of sit with this for a little bit and go and have a shower, do all sorts of things before I really understood this. But it's that back and forth, you know, the back and forth between duality, or somewhere along those it's either this or that line, right? 3D way of expressing. And also this back and forth idea of there's only so much, or, you know, you think of a tram line, you go there, down that way, and you come back that way. Or it could be a circular nature. It just keeps going round and round and round, this repeated path. And so there's these repeated ideals, repeated contracts, repeated experiences, right? And the descent that we came into, the tram line having specific stops, specific ground covered, and specific order only. Limitation of the tram line. All right. And to me, it's like, wow, we need to break out of that and go beyond this straight line idea into what is far more than that. So I'd gone and had this shower and I contemplated all this, and then I'd put on some essential oils with some body cream I have that is what do you call it? Got no odors or anything in it, so I can put what I want in it, put it all over my body to just help and align. And went with cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, and rosemary, which if you are a doTERRA or a young living person, you know to be on guard, or 3 thieves, 4 thieves, something like that. But they're a protection, and they're a release. They're what you would put on if you had the flu or the cold, right? The virus, like, let's stop playing the programs, right? And lemon, which is a great detoxer. So I put a few drops of those into the cream and wiped that over me. Whilst saying to Clove, while saying to, and I actually had to look on the thing to go, what is in here, and write it down, because I really felt like, thank you, Clove. Thank you to the tree of clove. Thank you to the tree of cinnamon. Thank you to the tree of eucalyptus. Thank you to the tree of orange. This is all tree power. This is natural force and the energies of life and the phenomena of how Earth works, right? And the bush of rosemary, a herb, and then obviously lemon, a tree too. So interesting, the nature, right? It's here to help us. It's here to show its way. And the bigger spirit of it, the greater spirit of it, not just what we see and know here, the outer versions of it, remembering that we are the stars and we are the nature. It's all in us. So we're aligning to those frequencies. And the great spirit of lemon can help you to be the lemon you truly are, right? To be in alignment with that, in whatever version that is for you, remembering this infinite spectrum of how life can be, your unique, authentic way of it, but also what it is you need to detox, what it is you need to let go of, what it is that is no longer for you. And it works in all the same ways for all of them, whether it's emotional, mental, spiritual, or physical, or more, the quantum space of your soul, whatever that might be in your field. I don't know. It's allowing those energies in. So I sat with this, and I invite you to sit with this too. And I just wrote the things that came to me. And I want you to know that the energy of aliveness and elation are with you. Aliveness, as I said, I see it as a very peace core, a green core, with the brightness of bliss and yellowness around it, and the golden light of the Christ. So I see that aliveness, and I see the nature and the stars and the everything that we are in that, the spirit that we are. The elation has, like when I wrote it up on my board, and I'm looking at, it's not a board, my doors are cupboard up there. It's been there for years now, so much so that the blue tack's all gone khaki on the sides, and I really should write it up differently. But it's got the words, I've each got the letters with a big blue line somewhere through it. It's like that centralized line of blue integrity, the strength of who you truly are, the strength of centralizing to the integrity of source and your way with that. And then it actually has the orange and the yellow. Now, the orange is grace, the movement of giving, taking, offering, receiving, the grace of life, right? Being in the right form of that for you, the highest frequency that your true nature is in that, receiving that. And also in the elation is again the yellow bliss, the bliss of life, the bliss and ecstasy of who you are, right? Understanding that you are in alignment with the frequency of your purpose, even when you don't know you are. You are, because you exist. Purpose number one, accept that you exist. So let's now go in with this. So I'm going to ask you, I have to leave this on so I can read what I've got here. I'm going to ask you to relax, and if you can, put your feet on the ground. It isn't highly necessary, but it helps at times to really tune to the aliveness of the earth herself and what she can bring through. We're not just feeling these energies inside us, although that is kind of the well of it, but we kind of have to take it from all angles if we're not quite to that stage yet, because we want to be able to feel the truth. And so we don't know the truth without others offering it to us. And that's why all these big galactic energies are coming to offer it to us, right? But at the same time, it vibrates in us, it activates in us, it reminds us. And we start to open up to it within ourselves, within that stellar system. The stellar system awakens, and we shut down those portals and leaks and stab wounds and weepings and so forth that no longer need to be there. And we stop wailing, yelling out for something to come. All of those things that can be. Feel into that. I'm not going to go into the negative. What would you call it, a negative? The sadness of it, or the emotion of it, or the pull down of it. I want to go into the let it come in, so that that can rise to the surface and be seen and let go. That you can adjust to a new reality, that you can take control of your own reality in alignment with Earth, her greater self, who she's becoming, and the future self you are, who you're becoming. And that source energy speaking through you, talking to you, in alignment with you, you as the heavenly being that you are. So let's feel into that and close your eyes if you wish. I always like personally to sit with my feet on the ground and my hands face up. But that's because those portals are very important as part of my receivership and release. But for others, it may be different. And again, it's not always that case. At night, I'm laying down and it all just happens anyways. Okay, so I opened myself to the portals of life we have forgotten. And I ask you to open yourself to the portals of life you have forgotten. This is an intention, a claim, an expectation of myself to allow the truth. I open myself to the portals of life I have forgotten. And so I know that mine are open, and many of yours are too, and all that work is paid off. But those portals of energy, the amount of it needs to open and power more now. We're moving, we're shifting, we're changing things up. We're letting these energies come through us as the conduit of heavenly earth. We are growing in frequency. And so we're opening to more of this aliveness, more of this elation, more of who we truly are. Just taking a breath with that, breathing that in. I forgive myself that I can no longer go in these straight lines. And there's parts of me that lament the straight lines and a part of me that fears leaving them. And you may have a part or parts of you that fear leaving them. But in allowing that aliveness into your system, letting it be received, allowing things to shift, knowing the power you truly are, and the alignment you have as a vision, even if you can't fully envision it, you have that vision in your heart of where we're headed and how Earth is coming together. And you too are coming back together. And we as a system of beingness, consciousness, are coming back together. And we're interacting more and more with what is truly here. And we're interacting more and more with each other in love and appreciation and support. So just allowing yourself to let go of those straight lines. Allow the fullness of 5D plus. I allow the fullness of 5D plus, and it's non-linear, non-local movement. This is where the brain has to step away. We're in that greater moon that reflects from our heart and says, oh, we all know this. The brain will catch up. It will come in here at some point as some sort of understanding or an embodiment energy that moves through us and shifts everything through the vagus nerve and the fascia and the cellular makeup of our holographic beingness. All of that is allowed to move. So we move with non-linear. This is 5D plus. It doesn't operate in this line type way, this tram lines, right? It doesn't operate in circular motions. It can be here, it can be there, it can suddenly be there. It's all over the place. And it's a bit like me going through my crosswords. Nothing's in a straight line, nothing's in an order. That is expected. You allow your own order, you allow your own movements, your own timings. And this is beyond what we know and agreed to in order for the descent, for the fall, for us to be here and play this game, right? And what I have been hostage to, so let me read this again. I allow the fullness of 5D plus and its non-linear, non-local movement beyond what we know and agreed to in order for the descent, and what I have been hostage to in forgetting and building upon 3D only. Because below the 3D is these 2Ds, 1Ds, no D, right? Whatever else that we've been held hostage in, that we've been building upon unknowingly. It got out of hand, it got crazy. And I don't think anyone saw what it could be. So I recall the Eden of Earth. I recall the Elysium of Earth. That's just my name for it. Not sure if it's yours. but it's where the gods played, and you as a god played there. You as a galactic being came and went from there, and it too had its fall and its breakdown. It still exists. It has a much higher form, but at the same time, it is also something that you know within yourself, but it has a connection to the earth that we exist in. Elysium is very tied to Egypt. And there are other places as well, but Egypt specifically, there's something really tied to that connection of Elysium. So I recall the Eden of earth, I recall the Elysium of earth, and these beautiful playgrounds. I lament the playground we made here in the earth of human and animal, a 4D and less world that was taken over and complicated beyond recognition. Remembering that lament is that sorrow, regret, grief. All right, and it's okay to let that go. It's okay to let that go in whatever fashion it is, whether it's anger or whether it's sadness, whether it's ruing and regret. But at the same time, forgive yourself for going this way. We never foresaw what was going to happen. And this is it. It was taken over and complicated beyond recognition, beyond what we ever thought possible. And Source itself went, wow, you guys are amazing, right? There is no wrong in all of this. But there was always a time limit. There was always going to be a time when we went at our soul, higher soul levels, this is done. We can't play these games anymore. We tried some different things, the karmic thing, the soul monad thing. We did a bunch of things to try and see if we could get ourselves up out of this naturally. We're still going naturally, organically, but there's come a point where there's a lot more going on to bring it in now. Earth herself, Gaia herself, whoever she is at her heavenly self, she has never heard us call the way we have called for intervention. And that came after a few times from 2014 upwards where we were supposed to lift out and it didn't happen. So there's been some heavy duty calling to bring us back, to help us. And those are the energies that are here, or they've always been here in very minuscule bits. Some people have been able to connect to them. Some of them were those rays that people used to talk about with the angelic rays and so forth that were sent from different planets and via different locations within the galactic experience. But they all got upgraded. And now most of it's coming through the sun, but it is also being brought to us by things like 3i Atlas and so forth, moving things. Other beings, being solar systems and constellations and so forth, they've always also been bringing it as they've been moving and shifting. Nothing is the same. It is always in movement, and we move with it. And as much as that human part of us doesn't want the change, our hearts are calling to move back into the natural way of being, which has change all the time. It welcomes it because it is not alone in its change. It is not the way we have perceived change, where something is thrust upon us. There is an agreement and we're aware of the agreements. We move with those knowledges. In the same way we knew that we were coming into a very limited experience within this 3D fall. And we saw the potential of so many different ways of playing that game. But we really got to a point where we were like, oh my God, looked around the playground, the playroom, it's a bit effed. I can't even find the door anymore, right? To clean that up. Okay. So this lamenting is not the alignment I agree to anymore. And if that's something in your heart, put your hand on your heart and state that. This lamenting is not the alignment I agree to anymore. Feeling the energy of aliveness and elation and truth flowing through your body, coming in whichever way it needs to, whether it's through the root chakra, the feet, the back of the neck, the crown, through your heart, front or back, through your solar plexus. Wherever it feels like it's coming from within through your white hole, bringing that out, whatever it is, whether you're feeling the pulse of the cosmic heart right now, you're in its vibrational nature, And you're just noticing and allowing whatever wants to happen in your body, the movement, because it is the innate intelligence. Yeah, allowing that. This lamenting is not the alignment I agree to anymore. I move beyond it. I enlighten. I no longer agree to these tramlines and to this human earth reality. I believe in the new earth. I know I am Homo luminous, the new being of human existence. And you're allowing that energy, that innate light to glow through you. That's the Homo luminous, opening up all the portals for that to happen and shutting down those interferences, removing those imprints and programs and viruses that are upsetting that, the parasitic nature of it all, etc., etc., etc. So I believe in the new earth. I know I am Homo luminous, the new being of human existence. I give to this. I live from this. And so it is. So I am. So I want you to feel that. Just let your heart be open to what is coming through, that your great team are bringing through right now. You are receiving the love of life. You are the love. And you are the life. In all its forms, you are in relation with the harmonious world that we are moving back to. And yes, there's chaos, and yes, there's breakdown and destruction, because change has the build-up, the construction, and the destruction. Yet at the same time, it has miracles, beauty. Miracles are jumps. Oh my God, that happened. Don't need to know the story how it got here. Don't know how it came to be. That you are, in fact, you are it on some level. You are a fractal of the source. And so you are allowed to join in with all that source is. And you are allowed to receive the aliveness of nature, not just from the food on the 3D level, not just from the drink and water on the 3D level, not just from the oceans and the landscapes on the 3D level, and not just from the people and the animals on the 3D level. You can go beyond. You can receive what is out there. And yet the truth of it is it's in here, because inward is the way to find it. So your stillness, but at the same time, allowing your body to feel. It's not what it's feeling just here. It's feeling beyond that. It's expanding. It's a little bit hard to get your head around at times. And that's why we don't go to the head, we go to the heart and the gut. And we look to clean those up and let energies come in to heal. The innate intelligence exists. You are an amazing innate intelligence. And humanity has tried to tell you how that works. And sorry to say, the majority of it is actually falling very short. It's a measurement of a moment or a measurement of a system that has change. I mean, individualism, yet in the same way, it's authentic individualism of the source nature of you, the signature of you. And there are others with that same sense of experience, and they are opening up too. And then there's guides and beings that are actually you. They carry that same signature. They may have fleshed out more on that, but they carry a similar signature. And so we understand each other and we resonate with the experience we're putting forward, what our choices are to be. What we haven't even come to yet. It all exists, but we're moving into that. And it's not in tram lines, straight lines. And so many of the timelines that have been built on straight lines are pulled in. They're dissolving. They have nowhere to go anymore. Or you're leaping off the end and taking a whole new space. So this stillness to that singularity within you, That's where you are realigning. And at the very point of singularity is the black hole, white hole concept. And also this centered point, both at throat, which it comes to, but this centered point at the diaphragm. This crossover of heart and cosmic heart. This experience that speaks from the that digests from the stars, that is filled up with the energy of innate experience, the innate knowledge. You don't have to have lived it all when it is already there, available for you to draw upon. Your treasure belly. Yeah. I'm just feeling in to go, okay, is that complete? As complete as I can do it. Your completeness to this, your step beyond this or up through this is your journey. And I hope that I have been able to inspire something in there, bring in perhaps some connections, activate some stuff, and help you delete some things or dissolve some things that no longer apply. Without getting really heady into what were they, what are they, okay? Within you, you know, go back to your heart, always go back to that heart space. And you're clearing it, you're receiving so that clearing can happen, purity can happen. Know that you are worthy. You have always been the value and the worth. This is your expression of the source we all are, your version of it. And I love you for that. Stay with your authentic self. See you in 5D. Okay, I'm going to say bye. Make sure you subscribe or like this video if you stayed with me, because it all helps to grow my reach. So we can all help. Okay, bye.